So there's a programming language out there called Ruby, and it's been around for a while. Um, a lot of the ideas behind Ruby are to be beautiful, to be written in a way that makes it easier for the developer. And if you're going to be writing web applications like websites with Ruby, you're probably going to be using Ruby on Rails. This is all stuff that I'm very interested in learning, and Ruby on Rails is very closely tied to the startup system, the startup culture. I mean, look at all these big old unicorns. I don't know if they're all unicorns, but these guys are running on Ruby. And I would imagine that the people that use Ruby and like to talk about it are the same ones that hang out on like Hacker News, Y Combinator, stuff like that. It's kind of a programming language that has a bit of a culture with it. And so I got interested in it. I was like, this seems kind of cool. And I got interested in it because I found out about this guy, DHH. He has made some really cool stuff. If you ever read an interview with him, or I mean, he's a race car driver too. Like, who wouldn't want to use a programming language made by a race car driver and a guy that has made some very successful businesses? So, I read up on some of their philosophy for Ruby on Rails, and it was like, okay, this is kind of cool stuff. It's like the whole thing is designed to make the developer happy. And as a programmer who's been doing this stuff for a while, it's like I like being happy when I code. That's great. So what I'm doing to learn Ruby and the syntax before I dive into Ruby on Rails is the Ruby Koans. This is something that is available online. You download it. It's like a folder, and then you download it. You can open it in your code editor of choice. And let's go ahead and enter the folder. Am I in it? No, I got to go into Koans. I'm going to move my mic real quick. Now what I'll just do with my left hand. So CD Koans, and here we go. You've got all these files in here, and it's basically a free tutorial to teach you the ins and outs of Ruby. So I'm gonna do Ruby path to enlightenment.rb. That runs the whole thing. So all these files in here, you only have to worry about the path to enlightenment. That's the only one you run. You run it, and it tells you if you're enlightened yet. Looks like I am 35% enlightened because I've been working my way through these files. So let's dive into what this is saying. The master says you have not reached enlightenment, blah, blah, blah. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. The answers that you seek. Okay, so this is the error that I need to fix in the Ruby Koans. And the file is right here. Let's control click on that to open it up. So method with keyword arguments with mandatory argument. So all of these koans are basically teaching you the edge cases, the ins and outs of the Ruby programming language. So this file that we're looking at right here, about keyword arguments.rb, it's a .ruby file, and this file is going to teach you stuff that you should know about parameters that get passed into Ruby functions. So the name of this suggests that there are mandatory arguments that need to exist, and it looks like that might be the function that is broken, and I need to fix it. That's how the koans work. You fix some broken functions based on the surrounding context, and then you progress, and it will suddenly say, oh, you've got 103 out of 284 done. You're getting closer to enlightenment, or like learning Ruby and getting in to know it. So I'm going to just do this live. It might take a second. About keyword arguments, line 21. Okay. Test keyword arguments with wrong number of arguments. Okay. That seems weird. Fill me in error expected. What? Given 0, expected 1 argument. What? Sometimes it's a bit weird. Oh, oh, derp. Okay. So what's happening is it's running this really long named function and it's not providing the mandatory argument, which I'm guessing is the one right here. Because 2 has the default value of 2, 3 has the default value of 3. These are parameters that are getting passed in, but they have default values, so it's okay if you don't pass anything in. I'm guessing it looks like this needs to, ideally this function is expecting you to give it at least like that. It's expecting at least something. So the test that I need to write to pass is that I need to match the exceptions message, exception equals whatever it is, exceptions message. I need to match it to what it's actually putting out. Uninitialized comp. Oh, I see. Here we go. Wrong number of arguments. I think this should be it. This should be it. Replace that. So anytime you see 2 hyphen or 2 underscores, that is a fill me in sort of value. It's very strange that there's nothing here, but that's 3, not 2. So maybe that's the problem. Fill me in error. Let's see if that works. Oh. It probably doesn't need to have fill me in error right there. Undefined method exception. Here we go. We're just going to raise an exception. Ooh. Aha! I was right. I just didn't fill it in. So, okay, you do have to fill in both of them. And it is not cheating to look at what it's expecting. That's how code works. Expected wrong number of arguments to match wrong number of arguments. Why does it always do this to me? So now I have to learn about Ruby strings. There's this weird thing with slashes. I'm going to go Google it. I'm going to put the mic away from my face for this part. Actually, oh, it's a regular expression. It is a regular expression. Okay. Hmm. Well, would you look at that? I'm learning some stuff about Ruby. I need to escape the characters within the regular expression. That's going to be the parentheses. So, bada bing, bada boom, it's about to work perfectly, guys. Watcha and double watcha. And here we go. 103 out of 284. Boom. So, yeah, you have to do a little bit of your own research. You have to progress through this thing. It gives you a little bit of context, but you've got to use your noodle to figure it out. Um, Highly recommend the Ruby Koans. I mean, it starts you at the very beginning, like variables and classes and like all sorts of stuff, constants, different data types. So Ruby's cool. It's interesting. There's a lot of stuff that I thought it was going to be very, very easy to read. Stuff like regular expressions, stuff like some of their syntax is actually not easy to read for me, but I can see why people like it. Um, I'm not completely convinced yet. I wish it was a little bit more verbose and expressive because I really like that. But the code itself does look pretty beautiful. Um, it's like Python meets JavaScript meets Java. I don't know. Those are my initial thoughts and some stuff that I've been working on. So yeah, 11-minute video would basically just say go download the Ruby Koans if you're interested in learning Ruby.